All right, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ivy League, where we celebrate some of today's healthcare's finest. And today's no different. We got a nurse, entrepreneur, actor, Miss Amanda.
Hello.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
I'm glad you can make it. It's a little rainy out there.
It is rainy.
Yes.
George is very bipolar.
Oh, man. Let's talk about it. All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from and what are you currently doing?
I am technically I'm from Kentucky. I was born in Kentucky. Whatever. I don't even count that anymore.
Oh, Kentucky.
I was raised.
How you going to
raised in
own
Florida.
a whole state like that?
Because I was only there until I was probably like 11 maybe.
That's a long time. All right, no Kentucky. All right.
Okay, and I was raised in Florida. And then I've been in Georgia for four years now.
Okay.
4 years now. So before I came here, I started travel nursing, like during the pandemic. I was making all that good money.
Beautiful thing.
In Texas.
Yeah.
So then I bought my house in Georgia. Well, I knew I wanted to move to Georgia because I wanted to do film, acting, and all that jazz. So I ended up buying a house here with the money I saved from the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how I ended up here.
Okay. So what kind of nursing are you doing right now?
Now I am working at one of the hospitals in Douglasville, just med surge. I float.
Okay.
I could never go back to one unit. Yeah. I couldn't go back to one unit. Now, once you travel, you stay out of the politics, you kind of bounce around.
That's what I'm looking forward to, by the way.
Listen, and then everybody, especially when you have such a great personality, everybody likes you. So you can go to all the floors and you get whatever you want from everybody. So I like it. And you really are not in the politics of it all.
Right. I'm trying to take notes from that because, I'm staff right now. So the politics is crazy.
Yeah. Sometimes they say they'll give like the floaters and the travelers like the worst assignment.
Yeah.
But it's not hard to build a rapport with people.
Exactly.
It is political though, because despite how they say they even things out or whatever, I know charge nurses who don't like other nurses, they'll
get them.
They'll get them. But management tries to even that out. Okay. So on one of our floors that I work on, they have a like acuity sheet.
Okay.
So, for example, they'll have the patients that are classified like red, yellow, or green from walkie-talkies to like totals.
Okay.
So they try to give everybody one of each or something. They try to spread a little. Politics are politics.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm taking notes while I'm working.
Yeah.
Cool. So I know one of your big things you do, you got a lot going on right now, is entrepreneurship. So can you go into a little bit about what kind of businesses do you have?
So I just in September got my permit to have my own home care business.
Nice, congrats!
Thank you. Which I'm excited about. It's challenging, but it's okay. It's challenging as far as I just recently went PRN, so I work 1 day a week now, so I can focus on the growth of that business because it's hard to do both.
Really is.
And then my clients all came out of referrals. That's another reason why even tell me it's so important to just be kind to people. And I always tell people your vision because you never know who you're talking to. So some of the people I run across, I'm like, oh, well, I can help you with that, or I can go put you in this position. It worked the same way when I was doing the acting.
Right.
Same concept. You tell people what you're into. They introduce you to people because everything is relationship building.
Yeah.
So anyways, I got one client based on a referral. And then I just started, I think now I have 2, almost 3, which is good.
Yep.
Staffing is challenging, more challenging than I thought.
That's probably the hardest part, I'm telling you now.
And I think only more so because I'm very picky with who I want.
As you should, representing your business.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so important because some people will hire anybody and people are mean. Like some people, they just don't treat people right.
That reputation going to get.
Right. So I know a lot of people that can work for me.
Okay.
But I won't take everybody because.
So what are your particulars? Like, what do you like? Go ahead.
My biggest thing I tell the people who I am potentially going to hire, I said, I can teach you a task. I can teach you to change a bed. I can teach you to take a blood sugar. I can teach you those things.
Right.
I cannot teach you how to be kind and compassionate.
Right.
So you let people talk. They'll tell on themselves. And so that's what it is. And then I let them know. I ask my family members, hey, do you feel like this caregiver, treats your family like family? If not, then they have to go.
Gotcha. Very, very picky. But it's needed in a business like this because you're dealing with people. Right. And that one referral can turn into like 5, 10, 15 referrals.
Very quickly.
On that one person. It can also turn into that negative aspect too.
Right.
So we got the home care. What else we working with?
Then I'm working on a board game.
Okay.
to help nursing students pass the NCLEX.
Man, that is needed. I wish I had it.
So excited.
I passed. We passed, but I've heard a little bit about it, and I think it's a really good game, no BS. So I'm interested to know where we at with that process.
My last thing, since I played it with some great people, is I need to find someone that can review my questions on a professional level. Gotcha. I think they're right, but I want to make sure that you don't want to have anybody studying the wrong things. Each question and answer has a rationale. And most of it, I know as a bedside nurse, but I have other categories like the floors that I don't work. I don't do OB. I don't do psych.
Right.
So those questions and answers that I have, I want to make sure they make sense.
Okay. So are you trying to reach out to specific professional people in those areas that can review your questions? Is that the route you want to go?
I wrote one teacher, so I want to hear back from her, but I really would like to try and get close or get in contact with the people who write the review questions for the NCLEX. So I went on the Board of Nursing website, and the number, it got me nowhere so far. So I'm going to try to see who else I can reach on Monday, because there's like, oh no, we just help with getting people registered for the test. So I'm trying to find the writers and the reviewers.
Right, man. I think I knew somebody a long time ago who used to write for it, but I was like, finding those people are like hard for some reason.
Right.
I don't know. It's like a secret.
You can't get a hold of it.
I get why it's a secret, maybe, because I get it. They don't like really advertise, oh, I write for NCLEX.
Right.
I think the guy Mark Klemek used to. I used him to study. I don't know if you heard about him before. He's very big in nursing and teaching nurses how to pass the NCLEX. But then he branched off and taught his own program to help people pass NCLEX, because he used to write for the NCLEX. Oh. So I actually used him to pass NCLEX. One that in UWorld.
Oh, that, now that you say that, there's this one girl, I think her name is Sarah. I don't know.
I know something. Mm-hmm.
I swore by her.
No, the white girl, right?
Yes, swore by her. She had some of the stuff I forgot, but she had with blood gases. Oh my gosh!
See, coming back to you.
Yeah, now I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me send her a message and see.
That was something hard to learn for me. But once you got blood gases, you got it. But it was like, wait, what?
Gases and the fluids just were hard for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, here we are.
So that's the stage you're in right now. Okay, so you got your hand in two. Is another business you in right now?
I think I just want those.
You just want those?
I mean, those are the two main ones that I'm focusing on. Okay. I want to get more back into film, but which I love. But
you in the city for it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it helped. It did, but it helped me transition into this space. I think being around all the entrepreneurs I met.
Right.
Because I would have never even thought of owning a business, or I thought people were just lucky and they just had money and they just, were put in position. But there's so much power in proximity. So now being around all the entrepreneurs, I'm like, I could run a business. My mentor is like, read this book. And I read this book, and that's how it led me to the game. And then eventually, hopefully, the podcast.
Mm-hmm. So that is a very good idea. I like the game. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
So you got a chance to meet some of the people I went to school with. And something you mentioned there was untapped potential. Mm-hmm. What did you mean? Can you go deeper into that? About nurses have untapped potential.
I think that, for example, if I think about my thought process when I was even a newer nurse, even when I became a little bit more seasoned, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to work every day.
Right.
And I enjoyed it.
Of course.
I love people. I talk. So I'm just going to go to work every day and then come home and that's it. But because no one around me was showing me that there are so many other things that you can do.
Okay.
So which is important to me too. Like, I want people to know, especially like healthcare professionals, is you don't have to do bedside. Bedside is great. I think bedside is a critical starting point because it's how you learn. Mm-hmm. But now I have friends that have their own IV companies or do Botox or, they can run their own businesses. But I think people don't think we have the opportunity to do those kind of things.
Okay. I see a lot now that people are starting to branch off on their own and seeing those opportunities. So being around, like you said, power and proximity. So being around those people gave you the confidence to start your own business.
Right. Because if you think about it, as I'm meeting these people, you're capped out. When you work for someone, you are capped out. You will only make a certain amount of money. You will not go beyond that point. They can give you all the pizza parties you want, but that is where you cap out. My sister's
working for somebody, yeah.
That's all she wants to do. She wants to just work in a hospital and come home, and that's cool. That's okay. Yeah. But I think some people have all these suppressed ideas and dreams that they don't think are attainable, but it's not easy as far as you got to put the work in, but it's a lot simpler and it's a lot more attainable than I think most people realize.
Right. That's true. So when people get around other people that's doing it that look like them, they're like, you know what, maybe I can do this. Mm-hmm. Is that what happened with you in home care?
The entrepreneurs I knew, actually, none of them were healthcare, but they just ran their own businesses. So you have the Circle of CEO group, which they're all amazing. They're amazing. They have the amazing wives and partners. But, one owns a gym, one teaches trucking. They have a friend that does stocks. And there's so much talent in these people who came from, not came from nothing. That's not the right word I'm looking for. When I think of that, I think of people who stay kind of like in a victim mindset.
Right.
So, all these bad things happen to me.
Woe is me.
Right.
Yeah.
So some of them went to jail. Some of them weren't raised with great parents, but despite that, they could have stayed in that poor me and just stayed,
and that mentality, just this is where I'm staying right here.
And they grew, and now they're millionaires and multimillionaires, and they can keep doing more. And so I started to actually study those people, and I watched them, they build community. So they have their niche. Like you have Mr. 2 Weeks Out, who does his gym thing, him and his wife, and they build community. They have a community of people that support them, and they can keep going and teaching classes. And there's so many things you do. Alex, who does the trucking, he has community in his field, and he teaches classes and gives people the game. And it's just, it's amazing.
Right.
It's amazing what they do. So I was like, okay. Initially, I was going to do the relationship thing because I like relationship. I read a lot, learn a lot, been hurt, I've been nasty, so I can kind of navigate around those conversations.
Right.
But then I was listening to this book, and the spirit led me to nursing. And I already have a decent nursing community. Okay. I liked making my little nursing content. I was a nurse on the Country Wayne skit, so I was like, I could capitalize off of this.
Of course.
And not to toot my own horn, I'm a pretty good nurse. Might not be the smartest crayon in the box, but I'm kind. So,
as long as you're kind.
So then I was like, okay, if I structure things like this, you can maximize. And that's the same thing, despite that all of those people have their own businesses that aren't healthcare related. The structure of how you run a business is almost the same.
Got you. It's just a different industry.
Right.
Different niche. Same
and
thing.
I know nursing.
And you know nursing, so you're just capitalizing off of it.
Right.
That's why I like doing what I do. Trying to bring people like you want. Because a lot of people aren't educated about certain things. So that's part of the Ivy League, is to make sure that, I get that out there as well. Do you think that people get into nursing for the wrong reasons?
I think if I had to say honestly, I'd probably say maybe 50-50.
That's a big percentage.
Yeah, I do. And only because I've worked in so many different states and places. And
yeah. What have you seen?
I don't know if it's burnout or if people just assume you're going to make a lot of money. Now, don't get me wrong. People think there's this conception that nurses just have a bag.
Well, why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know if
that's what's portrayed out there.
I don't know if it's the facade or what, but I'm like, I don't think we're not making what. So here's the thing. There's a caveat to that. Either, I guess, to a large amount of society, and how people are living, we make good money.
Comparatively, I get that.
So, but and maybe because my circle has changed, I'm like, oh, this is not any money for real.
I got you. But again, take it to the people who think that, nurses do have a lot of money. Like you said, comparatively, most people don't make six figures. You're a nurse, it's pretty easy to make six figures if you want to.
If you want to. You're not going to work just your little 3 days a week and make six figures. You're not. You're going to hit maybe 80, 90K, maybe, depending on where you're at. There are people who do, based on experience, location, and all that.
Exactly, right.
On an average, you can definitely hit six figures. But which is another reason why I wanted to go into entrepreneurship, because I don't desire to be in a building for 12 to 14 hours, 4 to 5 days a week to have money. That is not freedom for me.
I agree. I understand.
I want leisure.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be in
things that you like to do.
I want to be in Rome. Want to be sending people to go do.
Understandable. That's why you got the PRN. Now you focusing on your businesses, right?
Right.
Okay. So, but to your question, I think a lot of people see, because I see a lot of nurse influencers or nurse content, and the betrayals that they have a bag, and it's like, why do you think nurses do that? Are they trying to put up this facade? Like, but why? It's like nursing is supposed to be about the patient and helping people, not about the bag.
But I guess to another point is you have the ability to run it up. You can absolutely do that.
This is very true.
I know some CNAs because you have that certification, and there's always a need because people don't stop getting sick. It's a job you will never.
And people are getting older and older.
Right. Yeah. You'll never stop making money. You'll never be without a job. So you can there are some nurses that, they can bring it back. I know some nurses that they hustle.
Right.
I love that for them.
Of course.
I'm not trying to be there all day.
Right, I get you. Well, they may be hustling to get to the point where they have that leisure, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But if the money is not I don't think the money is what people think it is. I know some nurses that make some decent money, but a average nursing home or hospital job, in my opinion,
right,
it's not all that. Well, I mean, I guess, and of course, it's lifestyle based too. I have kids,
True.
so that's going to take compared to a nurse that doesn't have money and me that have the ones that I have. She's going to be doing all right.
Right, because everybody's life is different. You know, the person's life,
right,
the bills they got, the lifestyle they're trying to keep up.
Right. I
ain't trying to keep.
I go to Ross. I still shop at Ross.
Listen, team no car no. I'm good.
Right. Exactly.
For now, anyway. So in my opinion, I think that affects the quality of care that we give to patients, though, right? Because a lot of patients, a lot of RNs go to work and they have one thing on their mind. A lot of times, I've seen this where a nurse is just really fast and just do this, and they're talking to the patient. I'm like, they're here for you to help them. Like, why are you being like that? And I'm like, and these are nurses, been nurses for over 10 years. I'm like, wow, maybe burnout, but whatever it is, but this is the profession you chose.
Right.
So don't take it out on the patient.
But it happens. And that's another reason why I wanted to get out of the hospital. I worked at a few nursing homes when I was newer because the money was better when I was an LPN before I became an RN.
Okay.
And the way people, like they treated people and the amount of patients I had, I think 25 to 28 patients.
Wild.
You cannot care for that. You can't.
That's
it is not possible. So you're like a medicine robot. So, like I remember I was newer and I helped a patient to the bathroom in the middle of my 28 med pass, and it set me back like 2 hours. Because you just have to go. You can't give good care. And then when I work at the hospital, people were just they weren't kind. And I don't like it. They always, I have we had these little awards, and I was like the patient whisperer because I would always have to do service recovery for the nurses who were not kind or patient enough with their patients.
What is service recovery?
When a patient is unsatisfied with the care that they're getting.
Okay.
So then I'll come in and treat them how they should be treated and should have been treated. And then I talk to them like people.
Right.
Which is what I've always done. And they'll usually be like, okay, this isn't so bad. This isn't a system issue. This is a particular nurse issue.
Okay.
So, which I don't mind doing it. I like the complicated patients. I like the grouchy ones because one thing I know about people is some people just want to be listened to.
Right.
More than anything else, they are lonely and vulnerable and they just want to be listened to.
It's in the air. It seems like you need to be in the hospital more. You're trying to get out of it. They need more nurses like you.
But the thing is I do that. So my charting is like,
oh, it's a little.
You don't get to do. You're not going to be a super bomb nurse and a great charter.
Yeah, I think I'm in the middle right now. My charting is good, but it's could do better.
Yeah.
Could be better.
I could do better. But then when I think about going to getting deposed and going to court,
that part.
Yeah.
If it's not written down, it didn't happen.
Right. So I try to write notes. If I don't chart a whole, like do all the clicks and find things, I'll write a very good note at the end of the shift. I'm
going to take that with me. Okay. I know I done missed some clicks here and there.
Right. I used to be a note writer at the beginning when I was a new nurse because they said, write it down. But so now at the end of the day, anything that could be in all the different clicks and stuff like that, I write a note about what the patient went through that day,
right?
How they were doing in the morning and how they're doing when I left.
Got you. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so going on to that part, staying on like the influencer part, do you think there's a stigma with women in nursing? Because I know that
for sure.
I know. Okay, so I've heard that don't date nurses. So why do you think that is, and what is the stigma you heard or misconception?
So I did a video like this, and it was insane.
I know. I wanted to hear what it was.
So it was during the snowstorm. We had a snowstorm a couple months ago.
Yep.
And I did the video like walking out, like, because some of us genuinely had to stay the night. They were paying us hazard pay and everything.
I stayed the night there. I remember
the roads were going to be bad. Mm-hmm. So I think it was something like, going telling my husband I got to stay in the hospital so I could be with my work husband. It was. Thank God he's very understanding. So you got some flack for that, didn't you? He knows I've been shooting content. You got to take my content with a grain of salt.
Okay.
So anyways, that has always been a big, big stigma of nurses, which is interesting though, because most of the nurses I know are married. However, you're spending 13 hours with someone who understands the stress that you have. Like I've had these conversations. I'm like, like it can't be that hard. I'm like, I don't think you understand.
Yeah, it's different with somebody who actually understands.
You literally have to keep somebody in some instance, keep them alive, and you have to completely be understanding, and you can't not pretend like you're in Disney. Like you have to do a lot of kissing.
Gotcha.
Which is, neither here nor there, but it's a mentally demanding job.
It is.
Mentally, if you care. Mm-hmm. If you care. But that is a big thing. They say travel nurses, and the posts are getting worse.
They're getting worse? Like, what do you mean?
Because I'm in my nurse space, people will send me, somebody said, oh my gosh, it's hilarious. It's making me tear up. It's so funny. They'll send me like these memes about nurses. Mm-hmm. And they're all just so funny. There's like, she got some scrubs in the Apple Watch. She's for the streets.
She for the streets. She got the Apple Watch. She got the certain kind of car. Yeah,
right. One guy just sent me, it was like I was a nurse, like turned her off the back because we all wear our tight scrubs now.
Why is that? With the tight scrubs? I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just
asking. My scrubs tight. I bought this body. You don't see it. And then she had like a busted Honda, and I'm like, first of all,
the busted Honda was wild.
It was crazy.
That's wild.
So I don't know. Honestly and truly, in my opinion, based on my experience, my 20 years in the hospital, even before I was a nurse, I just like to observe people. Nurses are very nurturing. Mm-hmm. I think that's why a lot of times we end up with, as far as women, with men who are broken. And it could go the other way with men too. I don't know. I'm not a man. But I know many of the husbands that my nurse friends were married to were kind of not necessarily broken, but less than is a bad word. Not leaders.
Okay.
But my opinion on how a household should be structured is very much a man is the leader. He doesn't have to make more money necessarily, but
that's the leader of the household.
Right? He needs to be strong and a leader. And a lot of times nurses were like taking care of men. That's really what it is. They were like taking care of the man, not only financially, just a lot of them didn't do a lot. Nonetheless, not all the time. There's some amazing partnerships. That's not what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's just based on some observations. Mm-hmm. So I think that it can be mentally exhausting. I don't think that nurses have the highest cheat rate. Actually, they don't have the highest cheat rate. When I researched this, actually, during this conversation, it was video game managers.
What?
I had to look it up because we were getting a lot of slack.
I mean, you video game managers? Video game managers.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
why.
I'm about to ask you that question.
We'll have to figure it out. I don't know why. But we weren't top on the list. But I just.
You was what, 2, 3?
We were pretty high on the list.
I was just saying.
We were pretty high on the list for sure.
Because you've been in hospital. I've been in hospital. I've seen surgeons and nurses, surgeons who are married.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm like, it's like, wow, like, wow.
I worked at a big hospital in Florida, and everybody was sleeping together in the hospital.
In the hospital. Like,
I'm talking about transport rooms. And don't get night shift. And I get, nurses. When I was travel nursing, if I had not been in a relationship, it would be how easy would it be? I was on the West Coast. I was,
of course,
miles and miles away. And don't let me feel underappreciated and undervalued. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. But the opportunity is there. But I feel like that with everyone, like police officers, fitness trainers. I think people are people. You're either a good person or you're a bad person, regardless of what field that you're in. But I think about truck drivers, personal trainers. Okay. The opportunity is there for sure.
Yeah, it is.
But the doctors are on power trip, and then some people,
of course,
I guess as a woman in the hospital, that can look attractive to certain people. But once you've been there so long, it's like, you're just a man with some money. And actually, doctors don't make as much money. I mean, they make good money, but I know my entrepreneur friends make way more money than they do.
Yeah, doctors, I mean, I'd rather be a nurse personally, but because the insurance and the stress, like, I'm good on that. But I was just interested about that question. And
what do you think
about women and what?
Like just the whole nurses being cheaters.
I see it a lot. Like me working in nursing in a hospital, my faith in relationships have plummeted.
Listen, when I moved to Atlanta.
Okay, because you've only been here 4 years.
I was very naive, green, or whatever they like to call it. I've met maybe, and I don't even know if I should say this, I'm not going to
I think I know what you're going to say. You said something before.
I'm not going to put a number on it. There are very few people that I know that are faithful to their wives.
That's what you said. You said you don't know any faithful men. I was like, wait, what?
Maybe 3. Maybe.
That's so low.
It's sad.
You know a lot of people.
I do. And I don't know if it's because women are not. We're not ladies anymore. We don't stick to the girl code anymore. We're becoming increasingly selfish and increasingly competitive.
I'm glad you said that because I think so too. But a lot of times you can't say that to a woman and without.
That's why they don't like I don't care. They don't like my content. That's fine. But
it's true what you're saying. Not all. You speak in not absolutes.
No,
majorities.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing is absolute. But between the which I think comes from low self-worth, low self-esteem, all of that. So now they'll take any piece of a man that they can get. So
and stand for and take anything with that man.
Right.
If he does this, I'm still gonna stay with him, or I'm just gonna do the same thing he did to
just
me.
For a little piece of attention. Women are attention junkies.
Very much so.
Attention is currency.
Very much so. When did you come to this epiphany? It couldn't have been because you came to Atlanta.
No, that I've always been I would say a popular loner, and I've always liked psychology, and I just observed, right? I've always been more of a lover, but I would just observe, and I'm like, okay. And of course I've had friends, several actually, that I had one friend of mine who slept with my ex at the time, and friend. Okay. Friend, like a friend. And then I would watch some of my friends, just how they moved. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And then I got older and I started reading and I understood the imbalances. And when I was trying to figure out, okay, why am I so emotional? Why do I feel like this? I really started to study myself. And then when you study yourself, you like I said, there's only a couple different kind of people in this world. So everyone's pretty much the same. So I looked at women and how they moved in certain spaces. And I'm like, this is so sad. They'll take anything. Don't want to control our emotions anymore. And then you have our new generation where everybody wants to be a city girl and super independent. And that's, I think, is more so the problem is the independence, which I won't go into my whole idea about how that happened, but they push the men out. So now women are masculine and men are feminine. So you have these women who, now that they're so strong and dominant and independent and make their own money, they think they should still go and just sleep with people like men do. And
that's not even, women can't do that.
No, you just can't. It's a double standard.
We're built different, just period.
It's not healthy.
And it's not, but let somebody tell it, then, I'm misogynistic and I'm doing all this and toxic masculinity.
Right.
Like, what?
We weren't designed to be that way.
So it's now like when I come across like a truly feminine woman, I'm like taken aback, like, wow, this woman, femininity controls men. But people don't know that.
And that's the thing. So when I first started shooting my other content in regards to just being a more feminine woman, I said, you guys are choosing to be offended, number one. I said, when someone says something that you don't agree with, take a minute, step back, count to 10, and come in with it with an open mind. Because if you understood that if you are just more feminine, you really have the power.
You got me on the string.
Right.
I hate to say it, but because one is rare, two, it's just like, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Right.
And so what you want, baby? What?
You guys are designed you have a hero complex. Another thing in psychology, you have a hero complex.
Okay.
You thrive, most men thrive off of taking care of a woman. But what are you even going to waste your time? You're not going to fight with her to take care of her if she wants to go against you.
I want to handle you.
Right. No. So like I always say, if a man tells you a story that you've already heard, let him tell it again. If you know how to hang up the blinds, let him hang up the blinds.
Right.
Just relax and you'll get whatever you want. But you want to be hard, go for it.
A little louder.
I'm not, that's what I'm saying. I'm not working I'm not going to be at work all day. I don't want to live that way. When I die, I don't want to say I spent my all day.
Agreed.
No.
Agreed.
But
interesting. Yeah, you got to have your podcast. Talk about that a little bit deeper.
They don't like to listen.
But that's why somebody like you need to say it to them. True.
Yeah. And I need to learn. Like I love to learn. And I love criticism. Kindly. I love to get feedback so I can kind of analyze, okay, let me open my mind up a little bit.
So even in a relationship, you don't mind criticism?
But talk to me.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to talk,
like kind. Be kind. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
But to find two people who are both open-minded, I think is kind of hard.
Yes. Very hard for that. Interesting. We'll table that. So would you call yourself a nurse influencer?
I think I've been doing pretty good. I think so.
I'm not saying. I mean, I want you on my podcast for a reason.
I want to do more. Like I like my nursing content. It's funny because almost like the stigma to nurses cheating. There's so many. Like,
there's so many things.
It's its own lifestyle. Truly,
really
healthcare
is.
Professionals in general, like
really
the medics, the CNAs, everybody. It's its own world.
So you're bringing it, like, I shoot some content, you're bringing it to life.
Right.
So people are like, oh, that happens there? What do you do when this happens? And they're like really interested. So people are interested in your content. So I think I would say you're an influencer. My question is, what would you like to see in the nursing influence space more of that you don't see now?
I think even when I think about what I shoot, I would like to shoot more or see more people talk about the good things about it. Honestly,
okay.
Because I was watching a video and it was, I think someone was coming through the ER. There was a nurse on top of a patient doing chest compressions.
Right.
That's what we do, honestly, is very underrated, I think. I think the highlights go to, like, there's that big thing right now about nurses with lashes and weaves are unprofessional and all this and all that. So I think it is portrayed more surface level.
Okay.
Right. So I think I had posted something and I didn't spell your right. I didn't put an apostrophe in between the U and the R. So I'm getting the grammar police. I
got that too before, like, really?
Which is actually, now I probably do it intentionally because it brings up the engagement of the content. But and you know what though? I will say a lot of people, will say something, but a lot of people backed me. And I'm like, do you want me to be able to put in an apostrophe or stick a tube down your family member's throat when they can't breathe?
Okay.
Like,
I mean, put it that way. Yeah.
It's just,
but it's always going to have those. You're always going to have those people,
and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. But what we're actually doing, I think, is very underrated. Like, even influencers in general. Like, I have an ex that makes 10 times more money than I do pranking people, while I'm over here wholeheartedly keeping people alive.
Yeah, yeah. But you enjoy it though.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I think we need to be seen in more of that light. But as I do produce content, I see people who rather would be entertained than educated. The true, honest, genuinely down to earth, let's be open-minded and kind in a good society is not what people want. They want outrage and they want to laugh.
Do you find that people want that, right? So do you find it hard to make content because of that? Because you know what will get, like, the clicks, right? So
now I'll try to initially put the beginning of it kind of clickbaity. And then if you actually go into it, then you can really have a conversation. That's why I like some of the clickbait stuff, because people start to have conversation in the comments, and then and then you really get into what's really real. I think I did a video. I genuinely was so tired. You get the negative and the positive, and I did not put my work shoes on. I went to work in my Nike slides. Ooh. So I went and took they have shoe covers, but they don't cover your shoe enough. So I took the hair bonnet, put it on my shoe. I took like 3 of them and put some tape on it. It hit like 4.4 million views. It was hilarious. It was so, and I worked like that day. Yeah. And the comments were crazy because girls were like, I forgot my wig one time. And sometimes I put 2 different shoes on, or I put my underwear on backwards. Like, but those things are like almost, you could kind of be like, okay, nurse burnout, or they're real tired. Then you'll get I hope you're not taking care of patients if you're that tired. Like, when you wake up, you're tired. Don't burn yourself out. I've never harmed a patient. Right. And I can say that proudly in 20 years. But it's just all relatable. How old are you? 20 years? I'm 35. I've only been nursing. I was only a nurse for 10, but I've been in the hospital since I was 16. Oh, okay. I worked in the kitchen delivering
nursing
food.
Since 9 years old. Okay. Yeah,
right. I turned 35. But it's just relatable.
It is. And I like that about that. So that was the question I had. I do like your content.
That one, I did one recently about the fine family member. That's a real thing. Some of them sons be coming in there. I'm like, and I'm sure vice versa.
Yeah, I'm like, what patient is that?
Right. You need help at home.
Said, Auntie. Okay.
Right.
Oh, you need help at home, really? Let me find out. So I want to switch gears a little bit. So recently there was something in the news about a nurse who recorded a doctor, and the doctor was kind of crashing out, calling her all kinds of words, this and that. And this wasn't the first time the doctor did this. So this time the nurse, recorded like the voice, not the video, but the voice and the audio. Her contract got terminated. He is still working. So the question is, do you think that there's some, like, doctors get away with more things than nurses do? And like, why? Because I'm new to nursing. So I'm like, Why?
It is a lot cheaper to replace a nurse than it is a doctor.
I get that, right? But
and again, what I was saying earlier, as far as even, trying like the politics, healthcare and presidents, daycare, there are politics. If if you're looking at a surgeon who's an ASS, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's a good surgeon, you can get another nurse.
And I mean, surgery brings money in, so
exactly.
Man, that kind of triggered me. Her contract was terminated.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Did they give a reason?
No, it's on. I think you follow APRN nurse.
Mm-hmm.
It was on her. She's the one who broke it, and the nurse who actually recorded herself explaining the situation. So I would be curious
what the rationale was, because I would sue the whole company.
People in the comments, this is a sue. He's suing,
for sure. You can't.
I have evidence of this man yelling at me, calling me stupid, and all this. I'm like, what? And and during the video, she's calm, like talking to him like an adult.
Right.
I'm like, what? So yeah.
But that's a whole nother part of this nursing game. I would say in any job, there are people who are I'm not knocking it. There are people who proud. I never missed a day. I've never been late. I'm taking a mental health day, because for that example alone, you are replaceable. You're loyal to a company that will never give you loyalty. You got to put your 2 weeks in, but they don't want you. You got to go. You got to leave right now today.
I've seen that the first time, like, because I come from corporate America, so we put the 2 weeks in, you get 2 weeks, right? Nursing, like, you say you're leaving. Oh, you can leave today. I'm like, wow. She was trying to give her like two weeks, and like, no, you can leave today.
They want to get rid of the people, but that's messed up. But that happens. Well, yeah, like I said, he's gonna bring the one bringing in the money.
Yeah, I get it. That's
it's not right, but it's how the game goes.
Yeah. Okay. What's next for you? You got the board game coming up. Anything else going on with you? Entrepreneurship wise?
I don't know if am I doing anything else?
I mean, you got two big things. You got the home care, which is just starting up, and then you have your board game. So is that taking most of your time right now?
Yeah, I'm way more excited for the game than I am for anything else. Okay. I cannot wait. I just can't wait. I'm excited for that. And I like the home care space. What I'm learning though, as I was talking to one of my financial advisors, and he was telling me, or my CPA rather, about people who have just the houses, like get a home care. Then all you're doing is staffing that house.
That's all you're doing.
And then the government pays a
good money,
large amount of money, and those people are there every single day. You only need four or five clients in a house.
Yeah, that was the next step eventually I wanted to do, but that's good business.
It can make you some really good money, and then especially if you do disabilities. People with disabilities, of course, definitely go into for the right reasons, because you see people who are abusing these people. It's very, very sad. It's nasty, but that's a good space. And as I'm navigating scheduling, like I got 2 clients that I'm working with right now, and trying to schedule these people is like, go here. I need you at this hospital, and I need you at this address. I need you, which is not. I like it because I feel, like, and I'm at the computer. Y'all got to go to work.
Yeah,
all right,
that's true. You got computer stuff to do. Payroll, all that kind of stuff. So, and then I play with the real estate thing a little bit, which I think that's a must for everybody. Okay. I think you would almost be naive to not get into real estate in some capacity. Okay. But I can't wait to get out of the hospital, do the game, have my business, and take a flight. Just leisure, take a flight. With the game, I was curious. I was thinking about this one day. Have you thought about getting with nursing schools to promote the game eventually? Like, I do want to do that too. I actually wanted to. I need to email maybe like, I don't know what's out here, GCU, or what colleges are out here? Emory, like the #1 nursing school. Yeah, and going to just play with them to see how they do. I'm sure I could get contracted out for that. So when I had my vision of it, like when I was like, okay, we're gonna switch gears from the relationship thing to the nursing game. My vision was this being played at school on the days where the semester's almost over, and your rainy day. Yeah. And then I envisioned this being a great Christmas gift for your favorite niecey poo in nursing school. So a nephew. Right. Yeah. So I just have to figure out how to tweak it, build it, make it more replayable or whatever. So okay, I'm excited for that. I am excited for that. You got a specific name for it?
I'm gonna name it Code Blue, a race to save lives, because of how the game's gonna go. So I'm gonna tell everybody everything, but I think it'll be. I'm excited.
No, it will be. I think it's going to be.
I'm so excited. I knew, but then at the same, I was talking to my business partner. I'm like, we got to knock this out for these tariffs and stuff get crazy. So that's a whole nother world.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. I appreciate you being on my podcast.
I'm excited to come.
Definitely. But so tell the people where they can find you at.
Oh, look, I didn't even see that camera right there.
That's your camera right there.
I think I looked at things the whole time.
That's all right.
So I am on Instagram at Amanda's_world and Facebook. What's my Facebook? Same one, but most of my content's on Amanda No Binds. You had to be raised in that era to understand.
No Binds.
Did you not remember Amanda Bynes from back in the day?
On
Nickelodeon?
I know that name, Bynes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then TikTok is Amanda's World 1. So we're going to do great.
You got
Send me some stuff. Let's get some content going.
You want me to see some stuff?
Yeah.
I got you. You gave me some good ideas last time, actually.
Listen, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. Okay, I'll talk about that. All right, till next time. Later.
Bye.